I went to your website and took a look at your resume. And so really like normally I ask you about where you found your passion for music or for comedy, but I really want to know where you found your passion for learning Arabic.
Oh, I am Middle Eastern.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
So I look like my very white mother, but my dad is Palestinian and grew up in Jordan.
Wow,
Yeah.
exciting. Wow, also this is how is your dad doing right now? Things are kind of rough in his homeland.
Yes. It's very interesting because his family was they were forced out of their home in 1947, right before he was born. I think he was born in 1953. And there were 12 kids in his family. He's number 9 of 11. And so when they had 9 kids, they were told, sort of like what's happening in LA right now, like, you need to evacuate. Soldiers are coming through, but you'll probably get to go home in 2 weeks. And they never were able to go home. So the whole family was displaced to Jordan with 9 kids, and they never went back. So he grew up in Jordan and they rebuilt their lives in Jordan. And so thankfully, I do not have any immediate family in Palestine anymore. Everyone is in Jordan, but it's still terrible. Oh, I have a cat too.
Yeah, thank you. This cat decided to. They always end up in the most awkward place they possibly can.
I love them so much. I,
Mm.
I just love cats more than people.
Fair. I'm split pretty even, but yeah. Uh, Cats are more agile than humans, at
Yeah,
least, and just as prone to putting themselves into precarious situations unexpectedly without thinking them through.
that's true. That's very true, actually.
Anywho, okay, cool. So that just caught my attention that Arabic was on your resume. Also, that you just have your resume on your website.
Yeah. I mean, should I not? I don't
I
know.
mean, I realize that I do too, so it makes sense. I find you really fascinating because I can't really pin down exactly what the cornerstone of you is.
Me neither, Dakin. Let's figure it out together.
Excellent. But clearly, like music and comedy both sort of struck a nerve with you. What was the thing that was like, this is my calling?
My dad was an actor in Jordan before he moved to the US to go to engineering school. And I only say that because he is such an entertaining person. Like, he is not a professional entertainer, but he has a joke for every topic memorized, logged in his brain. And anything that will come up, he'll be like, "Oh, do you know my friend was golfing the other day? This crazy thing happened." And he'll launch into a story that is actually a joke. And it's just so funny. So I think genetically I am predisposed to entertaining and comedy. But my mom said when I was little, I was always like asking to stand up on tables and sing for people. It's just kind of who I've always been. And we moved around a lot growing up. And I remember in grade school loving to do the little classroom plays. And I was always writing plays that I would then ask people to like perform with me at recess instead of running around playing kickball. I was like, okay, I wrote an episode of Who's the Boss? I am Mona. I'm looking for an Angela and a Tony. Anyone? All right, meet by the slide. And we would like do these scenes from Who's the Boss that I had written. Like, I don't know why I wanted to be Mona either. Mona, well, because she's the most interesting one. But so I feel like in my youth, my love of performing was cemented, and I have a really funny dad. And so comedy was a huge part of my upbringing. And then I did all the plays and musicals in high school. And because of that, ended up going to college for musical theater. I might have done something different if I had known there were other like categories that like I might have gone to film school if I knew film school was something. It was just I did the plays and musicals in high school, and I applied to one college where they offered me a scholarship for their musical theater program, and that is how I ended up doing that. So my training there was in music theory and musical theater history, and acting and all the things I really love doing. On the side in college, as I was getting to know myself free in the world outside of being because my dad is Middle Eastern and my mom and dad met very young. My parents were very strict. And I'm the oldest of 5 kids, all girls. And so we just were in a very lot of rules, a lot of tradition, a lot of strictness. And so in college, I started sort of bucking against that. And the first song I ever wrote was called So Deep. And it was vagina so deep, so dark and moist. I would never sing that now. But at the time, I was like, you go the opposite end.
Yeah.
So I started writing just like nasty folk songs and would sing them at parties and everyone loved them. And so I didn't consider this, oh, I should do this with my career, but I was like, oh, people like when I improvise songs about buttholes or like when I improvise like anything someone said, I could improvise a song about it and make the room laugh. And that brought me a lot of joy. And then I moved to New York City and was pursuing musical theater. And when I was 25, I'd been writing just more funny songs truly for fun with my friend Patrick. Like just it's what we would do. We'd get together, smoke weed, legal now, legal everywhere, totally fine. Smoke weed, and we would just write funny songs. And then I was dating this guy who also wrote funny songs, and he had a show at a bar on the Lower East Side that offered him an hour-long show. And he asked if I wanted to sing 2 songs, and I sang 2 songs, and they offered me my own run. They were like, "Yeah, his show, whatever. Nadia Quinn, we need you and your show." And so that was like really the turning point for me where I was like, "Wait, this is really fun and I could perform these in front of people." So then I started going to open mics and going and purely on the side. In the meantime, I'm like, I want to be on Broadway and I want to be in movies and TV. Like my ultimate dream is to like have a hit sitcom because I was raised on like sitcoms, the classic golden age sitcom. They just really brought so much joy to my life. So that is like what I really love doing. But yeah, I got into it very organically, and then I started saying, "Oh, I could do a full show, and maybe I should start a little band." So I got a couple people together and started a band. I broke up with that other guy. He couldn't handle the fact that I was given my own show. And I ended up starting a band called Summer and Eve, and we performed at the Upright Citizens Brigade for many years in New York City doing musical comedy shows and hosting variety shows. And then that band broke up. Have I surpassed answering your question now? What am I now answering? No, I'm just telling
Oh,
you how
you
I
know what?
got.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Really, you are basically doing the whole podcast for me, which is fine. I don't actually need to ask questions if you. I'm captivated and intrigued by all of this, and like I do love that your first band name was a
Douche.
douche brand that was popular probably at that time.
Yes, it was like a slight twist on the douche, which is Summer's Eve. So we were
Yes.
Summer and Eve. And yeah, that band was it was so fun. It gave me performing in that way gave me confidence because I think, it's very vulnerable going out by yourself with a guitar and singing. And I know a lot of people do it, especially doing comedy is vulnerable because you're like, what if nobody laughs at any of this? One of the first comedy shows I did solo, not with the band, was at an open mic. It was light outside, but it was in a basement in the West Village, so pitch black. And there was a 9-year-old in the front row, and I sang a song about dicks and butts and blowjobs right off the bat. And I only had 3 songs at that. So I was like shaking, tears in my eyes, like looking at this child, being like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I'm doing this. But it ended up fine. Yeah. So I did the band. The band was 3 gals and 1 guy, and the guy is my husband now. So he will be performing with me. He does the Nadia Quinn show. He loves his name not being in the title, unlike ex-boyfriend who had a real problem with me being featured over him. Um,
And that's how you pick your
that's
partner. Yeah. I also just want to jump back to something that I picked up on that I've never considered. As a comedian, if a joke falls flat, that's 15 seconds and then you move on.
yeah.
With the songs, that's you have to sit with the that 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Whole time, yeah.
My God, that sounds awful. Uh,
I feel like it was in the beginning, and then now it's actually beneficial because now the songs I perform are not willy-nilly, I wrote this last night, I'm throwing it up on stage. They're tried and true. I know people think they're funny. And so even if one part doesn't work, I know there's a joke coming up that's gonna surprise everyone. So there's something almost like it's set and it's happening and you're going to get them, and then in between, even if the whole song doesn't go over well, after the song is over I can be like, wow, I didn't know you guys hated butter so much or whatever. I have a song about butter because I love butter. It's a great food, top food, one of the top foods, I would say.
I mean, you're human. I mean,
Yeah, people who don't like butter, who aren't like physically intolerant to lactose, I don't trust them. I think there's something psychologically problematic about that person because it's undeniably delicious. Anyway, that's a diversion. But yeah, so
yeah.
it felt definitely risky early on because my early songs were 90% dirty folk comedy. And kind of the twist was, oh, I have this beautiful, classically trained, folky voice, and I'm singing a song about titty fucking. And I don't do that so much anymore. I have a couple dirty songs in the mix, but most of my music now is just like my philosophy set to music or a random thought I had about something or an idea that popped in my head with a melody that I immediately recorded in my phone and then committed fully to making it a song. So, yeah, I've learned. But I guess that's how I got into musical comedy. I learned this was something people liked watching me do because that was affirmed. And pursuing musical theater was not affirmed in the same way. I didn't fit into a box there. And so I sort of created my own little niche thing.
I mean, it makes sense. It's also just like musical theater is definitely like it's a
Yeah,
path that kids are kind of pushed
totally.
onto. Like if you want to do
Performing.
performance, yeah,
You
that
do because you did the plays and musicals in high school. So what do you do next?
yeah,
No one's like, oh, you could be a visual artist or you could go to clown college or you like, if someone I don't know what I would have done. And I'm very glad for everything that got me here because I like where I am now, and I like everything I'm doing. And the way I got hooked up with the middle-aged dad jam band, which maybe you were going to ask about, is because of musical theater.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
was curious. I yeah. I mean, I re wore out my tape copies of The State that I made from TV as
Yeah.
a young one. I
It
think
was
it's
Wet Hot American Summer for me. I've seen it 600 times. It was just formative comedy for me.
it's funny because when I met my partner, the one that I ended up marrying, w- we didn't know the other thing. So she didn't know The
Uh,
State. I didn't know What Hot American
oh,
Summer.
very cool.
So we kind of got to share it with each other. And yeah, it's also just a cute little aside is packing and moving recently, and I uncovered like some of the early letters that sent me were on taco cards because I just sat her down and said, "This is the greatest sketch of all time,"
Yeah,
and
the
made her
mailbox.
watch Taco Mail.
Yeah. I watched it all for the first time after joining the band. I was like, I should probably see what the state was. And it's brilliant. It holds up. It's so
Yeah,
funny, so weird, so bold, just so silly. Really love all
it,
those guys.
it's the only thing from my youth that I go back to that was funny that
Mhm.
I don't find cringeworthy now.
Yeah.
Like it's funny and weird, and it doesn't punch up or down. It just sort of punches itself.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think like it's kind of the cornerstone of what I like to call like millennial humor, which is it's not designed to offend anybody. It's just weird.
That is exactly right. It's just weird. And that is the funniest. I mean, Christopher Guest, too. I would say Wet Hot American Summer and Guffman Best in Show. That moment in comedy blew my mind because I was like, this is actually funny, everybody. Like, this is so weird and so random and so grounded. I couldn't believe that it wasn't the mainstream. And I felt so lucky to know about it.
Yeah, well, I think that the mainstream at that point still expected comedy to hurt.
Yeah.
And like it's not funny if there isn't a victim.
Yeah, totally.
And yeah, and I mean, and even then, like in the early, even as late as the early 2000s, like you still had like, the the roasts on Comedy Central, and now you have comedians complaining that people don't like mean jokes.
It's just, you can be funny. We've seen now. You can be very funny without being mean. And I know as a millennial, as an elder millennial, that we built up armor to protect, to laugh at ourselves because being made fun of was what everyone did, but nobody likes being made fun of. It makes you feel awful. Later, you're like, what was the truth in that? They said this thing, and I know they were joking, but yeah, I don't like that. I've never responded to mean humor. And I think you're right. That's why we responded so much to the, the Christopher Guest stuff and the state and what David did. Like 8 years ago, maybe they were doing a workshop of a Wet Hot American Summer musical that was going to go to Broadway. And I got asked to do it, to play the Molly Shannon part. And I was, of course, like, I can't believe I'm being asked to do this. I think it was like a 1 week workshop with David and Michael. And I did it, met David. In my heart was like, I have to figure out a way to become friends with this person because this is my peak joy and comedy. And I want to do this musical so badly. And then he and Michael aren't really friends anymore. I don't know anything about why, but I know they're not working together anymore. And so that sort of fell apart. And I was like, damn, that was my connection to maybe being friends with David Wayne. And then I made a bunch of short films one year when I was like, I got to get into movies by making movies. It's like the only way to do it. So I made 3 short films, and one of them premiered at the Austin Film Festival. And David was there doing like some talks. So I went to one of his talks, and then afterward, I went up to him, and he did not make eye contact with me once. He did a Rubik's Cube the whole time. I can't remember the last time I mentioned this to him because now we're like close friends. And I was like, "Hi, it's me. I did the Wet Hot thing in New York." And he's like, "Oh, cool. Great to see you." And I was like, "Come see my movie. It's, we're screening these times." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." Took the postcard, never even looked at me. And then 6 months later, I was in LA with a friend who had just been in his National Lampoon movie. And we were at a party and ran into him. And he was there by himself. And the 3 of us were talking, and he's like, "Wait, you sing, right?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Do you ever wanna come and jam at my house? Like, I have all these fake books, and we can, like, play music and sing songs." And I was like, "Yes, I wanna do that." So, we started hanging out and singing together, like, years before the pandemic, before he started doing the comedian singing videos on YouTube. And, that's really how we became friends. We just started making music together because he loves singing and playing the drums and playing piano. Like, he loves it so much, and it's so sweet. And so anyway, he started making videos during the pandemic and would send me a thing and be like, "Will you record this little vocal part?" And then, he was editing them all together. And then I guess they started this band jamming out in his garage, and then they booked a couple shows in New York on the East Coast. So he invited me to be a backup singer, and then that was like a year and a half ago, and we're jamming out ever since, maybe 2 years ago.
Wow. So
Mm.
I had wondered how that all evolved
Yeah,
because, yeah, like I
very
picked
organic.
up that you're from New York, and everybody in the Mad Jib, I think they call it.
Jammed.
Yeah. Anyway, like, yeah, is LA. So are you just like flying out for all of the videos at this point, or
Well, I spend a lot of time in LA because I am, an actor pursuing the highest level of jobs still. And a lot of that happens in LA. Peace and love to LA burning to the ground right now as we speak. It's such a tragic time. I have friends who've lost everything. It's so sad. But I do spend a lot of time there and I have cousins who live in LA. So I have a place to stay. And so I naturally am spending probably 3 or 4 months a year there. And they are doing a ton of gigs in New York. So it's kind of just like I participate when I'm around, and when they're in New York, I do all the gigs. We're going this weekend to do some gigs in Miami, and since that's East Coast, excuse me, I'm doing those. And then yeah, whenever they're shooting videos and I happen to be in LA, I do them, and otherwise I don't do them. It's just kind of like wherever you are, you do what you're doing. That's the secret to life as well.
it actually just seems like the definition of life.
You're right. It's not a secret. It is life.
Yeah, whatever you're doing what you're doing. I've also
Yeah.
picked up that we are probably about the same age, which means you've met Weird Al, and what was that like?
Uh, You know, I have learned how to be cool around people that I am not feeling like cool, like I can be cool internally. So it was great. I mean, he's so down to earth and normal and regular and just like a cool fucking guy. I've performed with him in 2 different shows now and just, you know, somehow acted like a normal person around the weirdest man in the world. No, he's great. He's so cool. They're all so cool. It's easy. Like, one thing about me is I've never been successful at being inauthentic in order to like play the game or I can't do that for better or for worse. It's very difficult for me to like put anything on in order to play the game. And so I am just always unapologetically myself for the most part. And I love that within this group of people, it's so easy to do that. And everyone is just so cool and so generous with their energy and easy to be around. Like for my show at Sketchfest, Ken Marino and Tom Lennon are both special guesting on my show, which I feel like is a very generous offer of their time because I don't have a huge online presence for my comedy music because it has always been like my side hobby. And in the last few years, I've been bringing it more to the forefront because it's a way that I can have agency over my performance life and my life as an entertainer, you know? But that side of it has never been interesting to me. The like making sure my YouTube channel or promoting myself. I don't like doing that stuff, but I love getting on stage and singing my songs and making people laugh. So I don't have, because of that, I don't have a huge internet following for my comedy music. I mean, I went to the Edinburgh Fringe last summer and that was really cool. I got like a huge New York Times feature that I was not expecting. And yet I still, if there were someone who was like, I will make an online presence for you, I would be like, thank you. That is not my skill set.
The,
But
the,
just
the,
to say, what'd
sorry,
you say?
oh, sorry, the dog.
Oh, now it's the dog? Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Dave.
Anywho, okay.
Anywho, it is very generous. They are very generous with their time and with themselves participating in, other up and coming comedians stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, man, there's so many things. You cover so much ground in like 4 sentences. But yeah, like that there's something to be said about remaining authentic to yourself and your interests when working. And I think that is a key to success. And I call out that I know this is very, very modern, but like I think about Brat, the Charlie XCX record,
Uh-huh.
a lot, and how it was the I've given up on trying record. And she was like, I'm just gonna do this thing that I want to do without like and just yeah, without trying to fit into a box.
That's the hardest thing about being an artist and
Yeah,
the key to success, I believe, as well.
yeah, because people can tell when you're being inauthentic, but also like it's funny because I'm terrible at social media for myself, even though I get it. It's just it's a lot of time, a lot of energy to get it right, and it feels like you're giving out more energy than you get back to get anywhere. And so yeah, yeah, like, this I share this with people, these and like I promote episodes of this, but I definitely don't have like Mark Maron
Well, totally.
abilities.
Yeah, well, that is not art. That side of the business is not the art making. So it makes sense that many of us don't want to do it. But I think what's frustrating is that you see the people who are doing it successfully, that it is getting them more exposure and more opportunities. And so then it's like, oh, I should be doing that too. But I've, since the pandemic, focused a lot on not not doing things I think I should do and just doing things that I really want to do and trusting that even if my timeline is seems longer or slower than other people, that at least I am on a true path and it's going to be fine because it's always been fine. Things have always worked out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. It's hardest for me with my acting and music and comedy to put myself out there other than just saying yes and doing gigs. Which is why I'm so excited for Sketchfest, and I hope a lot of people come to the show because that is the main way that I share my art with people and gather fans and a network is by actual performances I do, and then there's, like, an uptick of followers or people being like, "Oh my gosh, I wanna come see you, whatever you do," but I just don't know that it translates into a 30-second video. I don't know that it's just not. And for some people it does, and it's easy and fun for them. So I think those are the people doing it, and that's good. They should keep doing it, but it hasn't been really fun for me. And in the end, I just wanna sing. I wanna make people laugh. I want to have new experiences. I want to meet people and travel, and that's what I want my life to be full of. And so it is. Am I a millionaire? No. Do I feel secure and stable financially all the time? No. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm fine. So I don't know. That's how I sleep at night.
I love that. That actually is kind of where I want to tie things up on. That's gosh, life is so anxiety riddled sometime. And like
Yeah.
right now, more so than usual because of what's happening with our
So many
friends.
things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Bay Area, so I'm far enough away from everything that it doesn't impact my day-to-day life, but my day job is a company based in Los Angeles, so
That's so
yeah,
sad.
yeah,
But
it's
life just
rough.
is the experiences we are having at this moment. And it's a good reminder that anything can happen at any time for better or for worse. Like I have a couple friends who lost their homes, and my one friend had 15 minutes. She had two kids and didn't grab anything. Like and then it's gone. And that, of course, like what's been happening in Gaza and what's happening in Rwanda and it's happening all over the world. It's been happening for centuries. We know I could walk out my door later and get hit by a bus just as likely as I could walk out the door and a lottery ticket smack me in the face. And suddenly I have $300,000 that literally dropped out of the sky. So it's just a reminder to me to just be where we are and try to enjoy where we are. And the anxiety creeps in when we worry about the future. And nobody on this planet knows what's happening in the future. We can think we know, we can plan for the future, but we do not know what's going to happen. So the more we are able to get out of the future and get out of the past and just kind of be where we are, That's where the piece is.
So I'm gonna cruelly ask you another question then. Even though we can't predict the future, what is on the horizon past Sketchfest?
Honestly, literally nothing. I do not know what I'm doing next, which could be framed as terrifying, but to me, I see it as a blank slate. I don't know. Maybe I'll meet someone at Sketchfest who will offer me a gig somewhere. Maybe I will, I don't know. I've thought about recording an album live in Nashville. I have some friends down there, and I could do a show in Nashville, get sort of a cool band together, film it and record it, and then I would have a comedy album, which I think would help. So that's something I'm interested in doing. I'm auditioning all the time, and again, like this, I could get a great job on a TV show and be working on a TV show for the next 6 years. Like, I'm kind of just saying yes to things that feel good and trusting that there is some journey I'm being taken on here. But I don't have anything scheduled in my life, hand to God, past Sketchfest. I'm supposed to go to LA for the month of February just to like be there, audition, but that was scheduled way before it started burning to the ground. So who knows if that's even going to happen?
Well, then I'm excited that you're our last plans.
Yeah,
I I I do want that record
you
because I
do.
was studying up and realizing that like the only tracks are on YouTube and then Bong Song.
Bong Song went very viral on TikTok this year, and then China shut it down because they don't like weed. Yeah, I got 1,000,000 views in a day on Bong Song, and the comments are insane. People are like, "Finally, the anthem for my life. This is my music, baby." And, I've had a lot of luck on TikTok more than any other social media because I show up like this with no makeup. I'm just like, "Hey, guys, this is what's happening today," you know? And so TikTok has been my place. I really hope we figure out how to not let it go away because it is such a town square. But, yeah, maybe the album will be next. I appreciate the encouragement for that because that would be the way to do it, right? Like a live album, get a packed house, get a video of it, release it on the places.
The DSPs, I call it,
I don't even know what that means.
a digital service provider.
Yeah, see, this is where I go south. I don't know anything. I barely know what those 3 words mean individually. Digital
Yeah.
service. But
Yeah,
yes,
just
that
start a music blog and you have to learn the lingo, really, is what it is.
well, I love that. So you're gonna be at Sketchfest? You're gonna be
Yeah.
seeing are
I,
you gonna
I,
come to my show?
I have every intention of it, especially since it makes it easy to go straight from the state musical about porcupines
Yeah, mhm, mhm.
to your show. Um, yeah, also a couple of friends of mine like run the Lost Church,
Oh, cool,
and I'm like, I still haven't been there since they opened, and
cool.
there's some guilt. So
Is it a church?
no, so I think the Lost Church is actually one of the original locations of Cobb's, or one of the earlier
Ah,
locations where it is now.
cool.
I don't think it was ever a church, but I think, man, now I need to dig into the history of the space because it's a space that has had a lot of identities and a lot of fairly historic identities over the years. And yeah, it may have been one of the early North Beach comedy clubs too, but I'm not 100% sure now.
I should research it too because sometimes I like to write a song for my venue.
You might definitely, all right, now it's a race. We
Who can
each have 3 weeks to learn all
everything
we
we
can about the
Yeah.
Lost Church.
No, I really hope I see you there, Dakin, and I hope that a lot of people come because it's gonna be the one thing I know, the one thing I am confident in is that my shows are really fun and special and silly and goofy and weird and random, and there's no punching of any kind.
Watch a fight breaks out within like five
I
seconds.
know. Honestly, it could happen. I do have a very controversial song about Dame Judi Dench, so
I
anything.
thought you said you don't punch down.
No, no punching down. It's only in celebration of her.
Okay.
But some people might not love her as much as I do, and then they could feel
There are people that don't love Judi Dench.
I've never met any, but I don't know you Bay Area freaks.
I thought Judi Dench was like,
Universally beloved.
yeah, like I thought Judi Dench is like the butter of acting.
I'm gonna quote you on that. Yeah, she is the butter of acting. It's a good point.